Hi everyone, welcome back to another video with Nubian Sun Ra. And today I just wanted to have a conversation, converse about some of the things that I've discussed on my video, and then go into a different discussion. So basically, to wrap up some of the things that I posted in my video is basically that nothing is exactly what it seems to be to the naked eye. And at that point, titles, like public figures, public help, and like police officers and politicians and, teachers and just about anybody with a title. It'll have good and bad in it. Not everyone has our best intention at heart. So we have to lead with discernment. And I already spoke about frequencies, and these frequencies come off from anything that we do. And when we are writing, symbols and symbolism with our hands and things like that are high frequency as well. And in my last video, I was just basically saying, the children are reincarnated ancestors that are very skilled. So that's why I was explaining that the children are high frequency beings, and how they are little old souls, and that they are important as well. And to move on to another topic, I was just sitting here thinking about one of my other videos I posted about body snatching, and how that affects people in their lives and with their connections and their mental health. And it affects relationships too. I talk about narcissism. It's just a lot of what they call dark energy, or demons, or mental illnesses that will have us behaving in a way that is not in the best interest of ourselves or those around us, and how it can take place, basically. And I explained it through manifestation in the 3D world, and how it will look spiritually. And I was thinking about it in a possessiveness type of way, like that perspective and terminology. And it's similar to how narcissists will think they own individual, and we know that's impossible. But it's a possessiveness where it's like just a trait. Like, the person might not be like narcissistic, but it's a trait that is dominant in narcissism, but it just is really rooted in trauma. And a lot of times that is what I would feel as if it's like one of the top 3 things that will destroy trust and lines of communication, and being able to see someone else's point of view. It actually keep us from growing. And these traumas can look like triggers from our childhood, like, how we seen relationships growing up between our family members or our siblings or our parents, and they affect us in ways that is subconscious, to the point where we really have to do endless amount of shadow work to be able to pinpoint and actually work on those areas in our perception, to be able to work in those areas of our life. And it's very important, because a lot of times, we'll have children and or partners or just like friends, and we'll be possessive over them, and even just someone that we might admire, and that will cause projection as well. And it'll just make everybody uncomfortable. And a lot of times we wouldn't want that to happen to us, but we do that to other people. And that's why it's important for a person to be aware of exactly where they are spiritually in their growth, and have the accountability of changing those beliefs, ideas, or perspectives. And it's just a lot of things that could cause this, and it's actually really sad when you think about it, because whenever we think about love, and it's heartbreaking when you actually realize that you were not really taught or really have seen role models of what love is, and presentations of what it looks like, and having to find that on your own, and then have to rewire yourself. And it is just pretty much self-love work. Like, once you learn how to love yourself, then you know how to love. And I talked about self-exorcisms, and whenever we start to love ourselves, the exorcism starts. We start to get rid of perceptions and feelings that we realized is taught to us through extreme. It actually is enhanced through trauma. And I realized whenever emotions are enhanced through traumas, it's coming from the root chakra. And that's the foundation of it. And then it works its way up through everything else, depending on the category of the trauma, whether physical, emotional, And whenever we think about the overuse of emotion and how it affects us, we realize that in every area of our life, it's affected by being overly emotional. And when you're overly emotional, you don't think straight. And when you're not thinking straight, you cannot make the right choices and decisions at that time to have the wisdom to move forward and for the greater good. And I feel like this was purposely done with our upbringing of the government. It was purposely done because people that is ruled by their emotions are conquered by, can be conquered by an individual or a system or a people. And that's a very dangerous spot to be in. So when we talk about emotions, it could go either way, because, I talk about duality. Emotions can go either way. But to be healthy and aware in our emotions is to think about what is best from love, not what's desired by selfishness, which leads to possessiveness. And whenever we look at it in that way, we can start to be more open-minded to people who are of love and what they actually see when it comes to emotions, instead of looking at them as if they are emotionless. I just feel like that's a perspective. There are people that feel like people that are too loving are not loyal, and they don't have deep emotions, that it's short-lived because of the way we were taught about emotions. And the way we were taught about emotions is that emotions comes with some type of possessiveness. And that's why a lot of times we do not understand, people that want to love more than one person. Polygamy is not for everyone, but to be able to understand the perspective of it is to be able to understand what it is to love in a healthy way. And the same as, people that when you have a person that passed away that's really close to you, we are taught to mourn and grieve, and it's actually a celebration because the soul is moving on to its own soul purpose of whatever is supposed to happen with that person. So we should give gratitude, and we should celebrate the transformation of that person, and instead of that we mourn, so a overly emotional person that's rooted in trauma would grieve very long, and that's why a lot of times we do. And there's nothing wrong with grieving, but it will affect us in a way where it will disconnect us, test our faith to the point where a lot of people end up giving up. And it will disalign your chakras because it's working on your heart chakra. And some people get silent and they don't communicate their feelings and keep it inside, so their throat chakra locks up, things like that. And to be able to realize that when we are at a highly emotional state, that it causes damage, just the awareness of that, it will basically help us to respect and understand that love is given at a wide range. And, I said this before in one of my other videos. It's like when you have more than one child, you love all your children, and there's not a point where it's like you have to choose a favorite, I think a lot of times favorites comes from the unhealthy type of love, like possessiveness, because the parent that does love one child more than the others will usually love that child because of maybe the child is closer to them because of some type of standard that the parent might, like. So it's some type of possessiveness in that way, But to love all your children is freely given love, regardless of what, life they may lead, characteristics they may have, and still loving them regardless. And that's just another example. I just find it hard to actually think about how we actually have been desensitized in a way, to the point where, we do not respect each other. We'll do things to someone else's family member because it's not our loved one. That is love that's being contained by possessiveness. I know these people. They are my family, some type of connection of possessiveness, to the point where everyone else is discarded, and it's like, it shouldn't be that way, because now it's like we don't have value, we don't see value within ourselves as a whole. It's just dependent on. That's a perspective. And I just feel like whenever we are loving in a healthy way, we are looking at that person as someone, instead of just some random person. I just feel like it would help a lot if we were to reopen our heart chakras and actually build trust within each other again, because of the simple fact that times is calling us to do so. And not everyone is feeling that, that's okay. But, this video is strictly for those who understand that, it's time to educate ourselves so we can be stronger in our discernment, so we can start looking at the bigger picture and making solutions instead of having problems. Because I seen this video today, and she was basically saying that the light should be separated completely from the dark, and that we should have no type of relations with it. And I just looked at it as, okay, that's her experience, that's her perspective, and that's fine. but there are people who are at a God frequency, which that is of light or of dark. And we are understanding that we are able to create a line of communication and just be able to respect each other. I do believe in having space, creating space for those energies to be able to be, separate in a way. But I wouldn't say separate. I just feel like it's impossible. And I say that because children come and they come with different energies. So even if you want to separate the energies, you really can't, because there will be an energy that will be born that might not, be of pure light, and the energy might come and be a dark light, and that's okay. There is this belief that only happens when it's two people that come together of opposite energies, so the child comes out mixed or something like that. But I actually know for a fact that if we can make both boy and girl, if we can make different colors, like skin colors of children, as above, so below. So it can happen that way too. We birth children, come out beautiful the way they are. And so I just feel like it's not divinely ordered for things to be at a war kind of situation. I feel like there's a common ground. There will always be, people that have this strong feeling of, wanting to separate, and they feel like it's like a detrimental, like war type thing. And, we all grow and understand and have our own experiences, and, that's just how it is in life. And not everyone will be able to meet at that understanding or perception or consciousness. And I'm not talking about, anything that's not righteous, because I would never want anyone to put their faith or connection with the divine on the line. I'm talking of righteousness, balance in a divine way. And I say that with security within myself, because I understand that just because someone doesn't look like you or might believe in the same things doesn't mean that there can't be peace. It's all about respect. It's all about self-love and understanding the balance of Mother Nature, the balance within us. Once you love yourself, you know that there is darkness and light within you. Even if you use your darkness for protection, for things like, if you were to, if it was the wild, and you have to hunt. Well, in modern days, I call it, work. You have to bring out some of the dark nature to be able to cope with harsh conditions, because the light and the dark cope with harsh conditions differently. They're used for a different kind of harsh conditions. And to be able to know that about yourself, you have to have knowledge of thyself. So I just feel like it's all about, perception. I say that a lot. It's all about perception. And I just feel like there will always be people that do not have that vision. But just like in the Bible, when it speaks about a kingdom of God, and the kingdom is not only, of the divine love, but it's also respect of being able to have partnership when it comes to survival. That's a different video. But it's definitely something that is circling back around. They say history repeats itself, which is true in a way. Things do repeat itself, even though it has a little twist to it. Things might be more modernized, so it's a little different. But the base and the principles and stuff like that is all the same. It never really changed, because righteousness is righteousness. Love is divine love is divine love, And yeah, that's all I have to say about that. I hope you all are drinking your water, earthing, grounding yourself, saying your affirmations, meditating, balancing, and loving yourself. Peace and love.